This is the Indirect Podcast. As always, Steve Schlanger here in St. Louis, Tim Ream in London, and joined today by Tim's U.S. international teammate and goalkeeper for Manchester City, Zack Steffen, who is in Manchester, but perhaps a little groggy coming off a late night return from Leipzig, Germany. I know as we tape this, Zack, you played in the Champions League in Germany last night. You guys lost by a 2-1 score, although you played pretty well. How you feeling today?
Yeah, groggy is a good word for it. Yeah, I got back late, had training this morning, and then came home. I've been kind of tidying up. My girlfriend comes in town Friday for a little bit, so tidying up. The place is a little messy, but took a little nap. But yeah, a little groggy, a little tired, but we have off tomorrow, which is nice.
What are you saying? The bachelor pad's a little bit,
Yeah, the
a little
bachelor
bit
pad.
dirty, yeah?
It's not really a bachelor pad anymore. But yeah, I just had to tidy up a little bit.
How'd the game go for you last night?
It was a tough one for us. We definitely weren't our sharpest on the night collectively, which was unfortunate. But if it's going to happen, then that was a game for it to happen. For myself, it was good. It was good to get back out there. Yeah, it feels like it's been kind of a while. The last game I played for City was West Ham Carabao Cup when we lost in PKs. So two losses in a row doesn't feel great, but it felt good to get out there, and I thought I played pretty well, and it was just fun to actually have to make some saves because usually with City we have all the possession and I have to make maybe one save and the rest are just with his feet. So last night was actually was pretty fun.
I was actually going to ask you about that. It's a little bit different feel. In your in your development and in your opinion, do you feel because you play with your feet so much that's become a really strong part of your game and obviously unbelievable shot stopper, but being at City, knowing what Pep is asking his keepers to do now. Do you feel like that's really come on for you and really become another strong part of your game?
I think I've definitely gotten more comfortable reading the game and yeah, with my feet. At the same time, the players I'm playing with right now are the best in the world, technically, and then just like one of the smartest players, some of the smartest players in the world. So it makes my job pretty easy, especially when we're playing on a big field. Um, but yeah, I think my feet have gotten better. My knowledge of the game has gotten better. Obviously, I still have ways to go with where I want to be and where I think I need to be. But no, definitely this club, City, and Pep, and have helped me grow that aspect of the game more than the past.
What is your daily routine like there in Manchester with training and how you wrap your life around what Pep wants you to do and how you stay as fit and as focused as I'm sure he wants you to be? What's it like on a daily basis for you there?
Yeah, I mean, it's right now for me. I feel like I'm still in this like. Obviously, I realize that this is my life now, and when I first got here, it was really surreal. But I still feel like I won't grasp the magnitude of what I'm doing right now until maybe I'm done or until I leave City. My day to day is wake up in the morning. I get ready at home, maybe make a coffee. If I have some time, I'll do a little Bible study for 5 or 10 minutes. But lately, because of the cold weather and it being so dark all the time here, I've been waking up a little bit later. So then I'm kind of rushing out of the house. But it's not bad. We don't have to be into training until 9:30 is the latest we have to be in, and then so you get in, you get changed, you get some breakfast in you, maybe get some treatment if you need, and then you're hanging out for a little bit, and you go in the gym. Sometimes we'll have a meeting. Sometimes we won't have a meeting, and then you'll go in the gym, kind of get warmed up, and then we're outside for hour 15, hour and a half, and then come back inside, do a little lift. Just make sure your body's feeling good. I mean, we have a lot of physios on staff, which helps with recovery and making sure all the guys stay fit during all the games we play throughout the season. And then get lunch and come home, and I just chill. Sometimes I take naps. I watch a lot of Netflix. I like to, like, when I have friends and family here, we definitely go out and check out the city, go on hikes, go shopping. But when I'm on my own, which is a lot of the time, I'm just kind of chill. I'm a very laid back guy, so staying at home and sometimes going out for dinner with some friends, but very chill, laid back.
You said two things there, right? I'm going to touch on the darkness aspect of this great country. What is it like? Up there? What, 8 o'clock? You're finally looking at light, and
in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning. I mean, listen, I'm up at 6.
Yeah,
I'm up at 6. I'm up at 6:15. So like, I got kids. I have 3 kids, so I know. You know what I mean. So it's a little bit different. But then it's obviously dark at. I mean, you're looking at darkness hitting around 4:15 now, which is, I mean, bad. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah. But the second thing is you mentioned it almost being surreal. What's it like for you? You know, you go through the trainings, you see these guys, absolute world-class players every single day. By the way, you know, your social media, you look like you're settled in and you know, happy with it and doing well and enjoying your time. But say you're in training, as you said, and you're looking down and across from you is you know, strikers and midfielders and De Bruyne and you know, Jesus and all these guys who are just unbelievable players, and you're staring them down. What's your thought process? You know, in the beginning, was it, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing here? Is it now, you know, you're just so comfortable that it's just, you know, another day in the life and you know, it's business as usual? You know, walk us through that.
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, it's as you are asking me that, I was thinking about, like, the only ways I've seen City and these players is through television, where they're playing in front of thousands of people, or the Manchester City All or Nothing on Amazon. And when you watch stuff on TV, it's just like we put it on such a pedestal. Obviously, Manchester City is one of the best clubs in the world, and yeah, what I'm doing right now is pretty crazy, coming from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So yeah, now I definitely feel settled. It just feels normal. But when I first got there, I mean, it was, I was like, wow, I felt like a little kid in a candy shop, but also like a little kid in like high school. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And I couldn't believe it. It took me probably 2 to 3 months to really feel like settled in. After I got a couple games and did pretty well, and they're like, okay, this kid can kind of play a little bit. That definitely helped me settle in, because it's different. Like the psyche of a goalkeeper is way different than a field player. So, and this is the first time that I've been backup on any team. So it's definitely, this is a whole entirely new situation for me. But I think it's been really good for me. I've grown as a person and on the field. I just have to continue to keep that mentality of wanting to become better and not becoming complacent.
Who are you close with on the team? What are your relationships like with some of these players that everybody around the world knows as football players, but you know them as teammates?
Yeah. No, honestly, the guys are really awesome. There's really no egos. I was surprised when I got into the locker room and the culture of the guys and the club is, the guys are just kind of like ordinary people. I mean, obviously we are, but you thought you would, I don't know. the best of the best, sometimes they have egos. But no, the guys and the culture of the club is really easy to come into. Although I would say Americans are a little bit different than Europeans, and that kind of takes some time to get used to. But no, they're cool guys, fun guys, just like you and I. They like to have fun. They like to work hard. They care about their families. They like jokes and yeah, brush their teeth, and take showers just like everybody else.
Who's the funniest or the strangest guy?
Okay, to go back to your question. I mean, the question of who am I close with? So yeah, I mean, everybody has like a good bond within the team, but obviously the goalkeepers are always together, and we're away from the team, so goalkeepers always stick together, and we have a really good um, bond. I guess I've been saying that word a lot, but bond amongst the goalkeepers, and I think that's why we've been doing so well in the goalkeeping aspect. And then, I mean, yeah, no one in particular, but we're all fun. We're all make jokes and talk about random stuff. Um, but it feels like I see them a lot. So it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice to come home and relax and have an off day and kind of get away from it all.
I mean, let's be real. The amount of time that we spend within our team, is it is it can be good to spend, go out for a meal with them, as I'm sure you do every now and again. But at the same time, you spend so much of your day that it is nice to have that afternoon, evening, day off to do things with people that are outside of the football world. So it's not, yeah, you spend most of, like I said, you spend most of the time in the training ground, and that's where you do your bonding, your talking, you're hanging out. And Zach, I'd second that. I think a lot of people would be surprised how down to earth, a lot of these elite level, world class level athletes and footballers are. You don't get the opportunity to have those conversations with them because of the time constraints, the travel and the amount of training and games that they do. It's just there's you don't get that interaction. But I can definitely vouch for what Zach's saying with a lot of these guys, because we've played against them. You see them in the streets. When for me down here, there's footballers everywhere, and you can have conversations with them, and it's completely normal. And there's nothing untoward or surprising about it. But yeah, listen, I'm with Zach. When you spend so much time with them that once you leave the training ground, you're like, oh, okay, now I have some time on my own.
Yeah.
There's got to be one guy though who's always the jokester, who puts the shaving cream in the boots or who ties the shoelaces together in the locker room, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's very easy. Kyle Walker or John Stones, I guess. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
they're English. Of course,
I
it's
know.
the English
I know.
guys.
I know.
Zach, you have the unique opportunity of playing for a guy who may go down as one of, if not the top managers in the history of the game. What's it like behind the scenes when you're training and playing for Pep? Uh, an element of his process that we don't get to see or know about that makes him so special.
Yeah, I think he just demands out of us because he knows what we can do, individually and then collectively. He demands. Um, he knows that we're going to make mistakes and football's not perfect, and that's he understands all that. But he's a perfectionist at heart, and he demands perfection from us, although he knows that mistakes are going to happen, and that stuff. But he knows what we can do individually and collectively, so that the demands that he puts on us, day in and day out in training and then in games, is just so high, and it never drops. And I think that's why He's had such a good tenure in coaching, and he gets the best out of the best out of his players.
Two-part question. Do you think that the demands that he places on the squad and everybody within it and within the staff, do you think that's more mentally draining or physically draining? And you don't have to elaborate. I'm interested because you know what I mean. You see teams who are at the top, and physically they're at the top, but mentally they also have to have it. What do you think is more draining with his demands?
No, definitely mentally. Just to be at your best every day in and day out for 11 months, 11 and a half months. That's mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
And but I mean, that's why these guys get paid the big bucks. But no, I mean, that's what makes you that's what makes you successful and makes you the best that you can be. And a really good team is to demand that out of yourself. And that's exactly what a coach is supposed to do is get the best out of his players every day, so that when it comes down to game day, we can win and lift trophies together and be successful.
Do you think, this is the second part, do you think because of those demands that it keeps guys' egos in check, and you have that tight knit group, that group that you're a group that can just, I mean, you look at it and it's just incredible. We actually had a guy on who, you look at the PSG game, and in that match it looked like you guys were just the epitome of a unit, of a team. And then you have the PSG where you've got the front three, which are without a doubt out of this world, but aren't the team isn't the same. So do you think, with Pep being the way he is, that keeps the team, the harmony and the unit and the egos in check?
Yeah, for sure. And he just wants us to play beautiful football as well. I mean, he knows that he knows how football is. It can really go any way on the day. But as long as we're playing beautiful football and we're trying to play, then he's happy. And there's been a couple games this season where we've lost away in Paris, and I can't remember the other one, but we played really well. We just didn't take our chances, and he, at the end of the day, he was happy with that. And I think that's also with the tactics he sets forth, and just the culture that he's brought into the club. That's just everybody gets used to it, and it's pretty much just like, we know our tactics. Do your job, do your role. It's kind of like the Patriots, and if you can do that, then the team's going to be successful.
Beyond keeping the standards high on a regular basis, what's something that maybe you witnessed for the first time when you got to City, either in training, either during a game when he was yelling on the touchline, where he did something and then it occurred to you, wow, that's Pep. That's why he's so good. What's something that you recall that kind of clicked with you in that regard?
That's a good question, man, because I didn't really know. I mean, I watched him a little bit at Barca and Bayern, and then with City, but I never looked into him in detail. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into coming here. But I did train with the keeper coach for about a month or 5 weeks, 2 summers ago before I came. So I knew what I was getting there. So I mean, I don't know. Pep is just he's just an interesting guy, a little quirky in some of the things he does. But I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question. It's a tough question.
I'll jump in here and let you think from an outsider's perspective. I think you can tell with him on the touchline, the level of detail that he gives you guys is it's for someone with a football brain. I see the game in a certain way, but then I watch him and the way he has you guys playing, the way he's basically transformed every team that he's managed to play this way is it takes a level of of detail and putting that forth to you Zach and the rest of the team to get guys to buy into that. I mean, there's just got to be so much information that he dishes out on a daily basis.
So I think that, yeah, so definitely it's so detailed, to where, as like in training, if when we're playing out and passing, and he'll be like, "Hey, Kyle, control left foot," or he'll yell a name, be like, "Control left foot," and then right foot, like as the ball's getting to him, just because he's like, um, not controlling, but he's just like so into it and so passionate, and so like perfect, like such a perfectionist that he's like yelling out controls, almost like a FIFA player, in training and in the game. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, the details that he's given in the past, I heard that the first couple of years there was a lot of video they did and a lot of meetings they did, and so that's where they got a lot of their information, and that's what he had to do to really implement that kind of playing style, um, and that's why we're so successful, for the past 4, 5, 6 years under him, just because of the amount of detail and thought that goes into the day to day with him.
Has he done anything during a game where he's changed tactics or done something strategically or told a player to do this or that that's really stuck out where you kind of think, wow, that's different. That's unique.
Not that I can think of. I mean, they've all been together for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
So they all know each other so well. I mean, we don't even do meetings after games. He doesn't even talk to us after games now. Or uh, last season he didn't do it. I don't know about the season before, but because they know each other so well that, like, we know, say we make a bad pass or mistake, or we play some way and we should have played the other side or whatever. We know that, right after we've done it, we know what we should have done and what we did was wrong. And he doesn't even have to tell us, because we know. It goes back to the details. We know our tactics. We know how we want to play, and he's just ingrained that into us, and into the guys for the past 5, 6 years.
And you said quirky. You mentioned that he's a quirky guy. Give me an example of one of his quirks.
Okay. One example that I got from Amazon Prime, and then I saw him doing a meeting, and it cracked me up. He like clicks his heel, when he's talking. Sometimes he'll like click his heel, um, and I saw it in Amazon documentary, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I saw him doing it in a meeting when I, like, the first month or so. I was like, oh, okay, we're here. I'm here. It was funny. And he's just like, he's very intense sometimes in a meeting, but it's like funny intense. So there's this one meeting, I can't remember exactly what he did, but he was like in a really good mood. And sometimes he'll like make jokes in a meeting. And it'll be like a subtle joke or like a passive aggressive joke kind of. And there was this one meeting that he did that like once or twice, and it had me, like, I had to like hide my face because he was like looking at us and talking, and I didn't want to be the one laughing.
So he makes the jokes, but he doesn't want you to laugh at him.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes no, he does, but in this meeting, it was like he was just being like quirky, and I thought it was funny, and I had to hide my laugh.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy, do you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
In terms of your time with the national side, and in particular going back to, I guess, the most recent round of World Cup qualifying fixtures, you had the game against Mexico in Cincinnati. I was there. The atmosphere was incredible. What was it like for you? Because you, in particular, had that one moment where you made the stop on Lozano early on. And to me, that was the key moment of the entire game. It was still 0-0 at that point. If he scores that goal, the game could go an entirely different direction. You make a terrific save, probably the best of the game, and I think the crowd rose up because of that, and I think it kind of changed the trajectory of the way that game could have gone. What do you remember about the whole night?
Yeah, the atmosphere was electric. Yeah, that stadium was amazing. The fans were amazing. I mean, that was like one of our first USA Mexico games where we had all like pretty much all American fans. So yeah, that was very special for us. We wish Tim was there with us. You were missed, Tim.
No, thanks.
But yeah, it was an amazing night. And it was like a night in England, kind of cold and a little rainy, so the field
Yeah.
was short, and then it was slick, and it was perfect to play on. It was a really exciting night. We played really well, and just kind of fought for 95 minutes, and that's exactly what those CONCACAF games are all about. Is really just battling and getting the result. It's not always going to be pretty. But you just got to get the result, especially at home.
And I got to say, I don't ever remember a goalkeeper getting a yellow card at midfield in a game before. How did that happen?
Yeah, so apparently, yeah, I mean, so goalkeepers aren't allowed to like leave their box when there's a
Yeah.
fight or a scuffle or anything, which I think should be changed because if it's a fight, then it's like it's not like I'm going there to fight. I was just like going there to protect my players, pull them out. I'm not gonna go there and fight. Although what the guy did to Brendan was red card worthy, for sure. Um, but I got up there and the ref was I don't like kind of distracted and I said two words to him and he just saw my face and gave me a yell. I said two words and I was like, this is I was gonna say like this is what happens when you don't what did I say? Like when you don't not take care of the game, but like when you don't control the game or whatever, because there was a couple fouls that he didn't call for us and the crowd was getting into it and it was getting a little heated and then that happened. Um, so and I got two words out, and he gave me a yellow card. I was like, dude, I can't even have a conversation with you. So yeah,
Wow, I mean,
Wow.
I wasn't very.
it's a CONCACAF ref.
Oh, I know,
He's
I know.
CONCACAF,
It's the most
so
so frustrating dealing with those referees because they don't really talk to you. They're arrogant and trying to make it
yeah.
about them, and yeah, it's frustrating to be on the American side in those games, as Tim knows.
Yep.
Zach, it's interesting when you look not just with your time in Man City, but also with Team USA, and then over your career to this point. You're one of the players, and I don't know how many that we've seen do this, but obviously starting in college soccer, then you went to Europe, then you came back for MLS, then you went back to Europe. In terms of that whole process, what has the evolution for you been like within the game? Because it's kind of different than the trajectory we've seen some other players take who've risen to your level.
Yeah, it's that's interesting because again, like the goalkeeping aspect and the field player aspect, they're so different. So I mean, I've been coached by so many different goalkeeping coaches, and so many different styles, um, and I've learned a lot on the field. I learned a lot in Germany my first time. I had really good goalkeeping coaches there, and I feel like I improved there. I just wasn't happy off the field, so I decided to come back to Columbus, and I was with Greg. So I mean, and Pat Onstad, the goalkeeping coach. So it's tough to say. I mean, every coach kind of has their own style. I mean, our Spanish coach here, Chabi, has his own style, and this is the style I like the most. And I think he's made me an even better shot stopper and just overall goalkeeper. So. I mean, I through my career, I've just kind of learned to adapt and try to get the best out of each position and situation I'm in.
I was just gonna say it's everybody's journey is just that. It's their journey, right? I mean, I feel like nowadays my journey to where I'm at is unique because I'm one of the very few that's done graduated university, gone to MLS, somehow gotten out of MLS and forged a career over here. And you've done something even more unique in that you went to university, jumped to Europe, came back to MLS, jumped back to Europe. I mean, do you think it's made you stronger mentally and more well-rounded as a goalkeeper, taking different aspects from all your stops along the way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's just kind of life. Like when you're, especially when like when you move away far from home and stuff, you grow up quicker and you have to mature quicker. And you have to live on your own. So yeah, you definitely got to almost become an adult sooner than your friends that you grew up with. But yeah, I mean, definitely has, and goalkeeping is also just like a very, what's the word? I mean, you got to be reliable, as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You got to pretty much do your job, and you got to keep balls out of the net, and now you got to play out, and that's the style that the game is moving to. So off the field, you got to be reliable. On the field, you have to be reliable, and that just kind of makes you become a better person because people are counting on you. And that's just how I feel being a goalkeeper.
Is there any point where you learned one thing about your trade now that really made the most difference, whether it was a coach or a style or something that somebody mentioned to you where you thought to yourself, wow, this is definitely something that's going to help my game in a way that others haven't?
I would say just here at City, I mean, just being more calm and not thinking you have to do everything at like 100% speed and um, just kind of reading the game more. And I mean, like I said earlier, playing with these players, obviously it makes my life easier um, because they're used to playing out and I feel like Europeans, Tim knows this, Europeans in European football, they just understand the game and know the game and are taught the game differently than in America. And last year and a half with City, I've definitely learned more like what the game's about than I did. Like I feel like when I was growing up in America, I played soccer just to have fun and get on my parents' hair and to meet kids and be active. And I just kept doing well with it, and it kept taking me places. And now, like compared to over here, where it's like
it's an education
religion,
over here.
Yeah,
it's a religion. It's an education.
A culture.
That's it.
Yeah.
Are you pretty well received around town in Manchester as an American, playing for such a prestigious club that's English based?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not like that big, which is nice too.
Right.
And some people will recognize me, and a lot of people won't. So it's kind of nice. I fly underneath the radar most of the time. And Manchester, I would say, is more of a united city fan base. But just in the last like 10 years, it really became Manchester City, at least with the kids, because we've done so well.
All right. Well, as we get set to close things out here, one thing I did want to mention. I don't know if you heard about this, but just a few weeks ago, Tim scored a goal, right? I'm just wondering. Yeah, he did. He actually did.
Cheers, Zach.
With
thanks,
what?
Zach.
Your head
thanks,
or your
bud.
foot?
No, my foot. Absolute. Yeah.
You gotta send me this. No way.
Yeah.
I gotta find it.
From 3 yards.
A little tapping. Nice, bro.
Yeah.
Is that your first goal?
Nah, my first one in 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Wow, congrats.
And the question is, how glad are you that you don't have to face Tim on a regular basis now?
Yeah, prolific.
Absolutely prolific, right? No, I'm actually kind of sad because I love seeing like him, Anthony, Christian, all the Americans like after games, and I love watching these guys face to face. So it's sad that we don't play each other, but hopefully next season.
Yeah, it's all that little brotherhood, isn't it? It's always nice to see guys and Americans over here and playing and doing well. So
exactly. Like seeing Tyler Adams last night was awesome, and that made my night just to talk to him for 1 minute.
Yeah.
So.
And how about the Champions League final last year going against Christian? I mean, who would think of something like that? Two Americans in a Champions League final head to head.
Yeah, two kids from PA. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Even crazier.
Yeah, it's insane. it was very surreal and yeah, I mean, he played in it, and it's the psyche and everything for me, it's still like weird, and that's why I don't think I'll like fully grasp and understand everything that I'm doing right now until I'm like
Just
done
live
with
it,
it,
bro.
or
Just live
exactly,
it.
exactly.
Just
I'm
live
just
it.
trying to
Doesn't
enjoy it.
matter.
I'm just trying
That's
to
it.
enjoy it, not take it for granted.
Yeah.
Zach, thanks very much for the time, and we'll let you get back to. We can tell in the background there the darkness in Manchester.
He's got a blanket
Settling in
on.
for the
He
night.
told you he was laid back.
I
He's got a little
did. It's
blanket on.
cold.
He's
It's
cold.
cold. I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
winter in
no, thanks for having me
Manchester. All
on.
right. Thanks, Zach.
Thanks,
Yeah, no
Zach.
problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. Good to see you.